Welcome students for online classes. So today we'll continue with the chapter 10, that is poverty. In the earlier session we had studied about the types of poverty and the classification. So in this session we'll study about the causes of poverty in India and even the suggestions to remove the poverty. So this will be the last session of this chapter, poverty. So the first topic is the causes of poverty in India. So what does it mean? It means that what are the problematic thing which arise because because the poverty in India is been increasing. First one is because of colonial rule. So the meaning of colonial is the powerful nation taking over the weaker nation. So what happened to our India? Our India before 1947, what happened? Our India was taken over by the British people. So this is known as colonial rule, where the Britain people had taken over our India. So what happened at the colonial rule? Before to colonial rule, our India was doing handicrafts. Our India was rich in resources, so because of that there was a major export thing. So automatically when export things happens, what will happen? You gain money, more and more money. So because of this, our India had no much problem before to the British people came to India. After Britons came to India, Britain saw all these necessary things, that India is rich in resources, they are doing much developmental things. So because of this, what happened? British took over India, and later on what did they do? They deliberately, or they forced our Indians to stop the handicrafts and to sell only the resources in the sense the raw materials to their market, that is to the Britain market, so that their market might get developed. So because of this, what happened? Our India was much in problem. The poverty started increasing, the poor people started increasing. So this is one of the cause where, because of this colonial rule, our India started becoming the poorest place, or there was no proper development in the economy. So because of this, majority of the people were unemployed, there was no proper employment. Because the Britain people, what did they do? They gave only the work to some of the people. Why? Because even the people, they had to give salary to those kind of people. So because of this, what happened? Majority of the people also started remaining unemployed. So this is one of the cause. So next one is low growth rate. So why there was low growth rate? Because till the age of 1980s, what happened? There was no proper growth in our economy. Once the Britishers went outside of the India, our government started taking necessary precautions. They started to take many developmental things, even though what happened, even though there was no proper growth in the economy. So even for the growth, what happens? What is very much necessary? Maybe any some sort of education and some sort of technological things the people need to know. Even the upgradation of technology, if you upgrade yourself, what happens? Even the economy should know about that. So the people were lagging behind for that particular technological process, or because of that, what happened? There was a low growth rate. And even what happened? There was no proper productivity in our economy. So because of this, the GDP, that is a gross domestic product, which means the productivity in a year, that also started declining. So because of this, what happened? There was no proper growth in the economy. The next thing is fast population growth among the poor. So what happened? What is fast population? The rapid growth of the population. When there was a increasing in the population, maybe when the rich people started making the thing that two particular person, two, for the parents of two parents, what happened? Only two children are enough. So when they started to make the family planning, what happened? The poor people didn't know how to do family planning, or they didn't even know about the birth control measure. So because of this, what happened? The poor people started increasing the size of the family, maybe the 12 children, maybe 15 children. So because of this, what happened? Even the growth of the economy started declining. Why? Because the people, the parents had to feed them, they had no proper money, they had no proper employment opportunities. Because of all these technological process and all these campaigns which is not being done for all these people, for the poor people, at this particular point of time, what happened? The fast growing population also started to remain as a one kind of a cause or a impact to the economy. So I'll give you example. I am I am a middle class person. I am a parent of two child and I am a class person. At this point of time, as I will be knowing, as I will be not knowing what birth control measure is. So nobody gave me information regarding this. So I will be having even extra children, maybe 10 to 12 children. So at this particular point of time, for a middle class person, it is very difficult to feed their children, to feed themselves, to have a proper education for their children. So at this particular point of time, what happens, they start slowly, gradually, they start becoming the poor people, or they go below poverty line. So this is known as the fast growing population in the economy. The next thing is unemployment and underemployment. So what happened, as told earlier, under the colonial rule there was no proper employment opportunity to the people. So at the same point of time, what happened, the only the people who were educated, or the people who got proper education, they started developing. Only those started developing. At this point of time, the other people were left unseen. They were not having proper employment opportunities, they were not seen at all. So at this point of time, what happened, it was very difficult for the poor people to get a proper knowledge, to get proper skills, or to get hacked, or to have a proper education. Maybe if you want to go for a company, or if you want to work somewhere, what happens, everybody will be asking your marks card. So at this point of time, what is important, education is very much important in the economy. So at this point of time, what happened, it was very difficult for the people to have a proper employment, even because of the fast growing population. What happened, when the rapid population increased, it was very difficult for the parents to feed. At the same point of time, it was very difficult for the parents to go out and work, because they had no proper employment, maybe to earn proper income, maybe to have proper job anyway. So this is known as unemployment, how it affected the poverty level people. The next thing is of inequalities of income. Inequality in the sense where the people in the economy, everybody in the economy, are not having the equal income. For example, if I have an income of 1 lakh, my neighbor might be having the income of 2 lakh. Or if I'll be having the income of 10,000, my neighbor might be having the income of 5,000. So there is no equality among the income level which is being given. So as you study, as you have a proper education, as you do something in your as you do something in your business, when you get profit, that will be your income. So because of this, what happened, only the richer people started becoming rich. So I'll give you an example. So there will be a shop nearby my home, so everybody starts going to that shop, and that shop will be familiar to everybody in my locality. So at this point of time, another person comes to my locality and keeps the shop. So at this point of time, where will you go personally? Personally, to whom you are familiar with, you will go to that person. So the person who has recently kept a shop near my home, that shopkeeper might get a loss for a certain period of time. So this is also known as the inequalities of income, which is being faced by everybody in the economy. So which is one of the cause for the poverty. So the next thing is about the suggestions to remove poverty. So we saw what and all causes, or what and all problems which was arising in the economy. So now let's see what are the suggestions that the economy, that is the government, gives to us in person. So first thing is about the agricultural development. So what happened, before the people used to use the outdated techniques, maybe they used the bullock cart. So later on, what happened, later on, our economy or the government gave the green revolution. What does green revolution mean? Maybe giving off the HYV seeds, maybe chemicals, maybe pesticides, maybe subsidies, giving proper techniques, or giving proper information to the end public. That is known as agricultural development. When there will be a proper agricultural development, there will be a growth in the economy. Why do I tell like that? Because agriculture is known as the backbone of our country. So because of this, when this particular agriculture grows, when the farmer starts getting all these necessary things, maybe seeds for the low rate, maybe pesticides, maybe fertilizers, at this point of time, automatically the economical process will also grow. So the next thing is reducing income inequalities. So how the reduction of income inequalities can be done, it is so there is a proper gap between the rich and poor. So at this point of time, it is very difficult to cope up for the poor people to come to the level of the rich. So at this point of time, in the economy, what did the government do? Government started giving the free education. The government started giving the financial assistance to the people who are willing to keep their own business. So these are some of the measures which are given by the government to reduce the income inequalities which is arising in the economy and to have a better life in the economy. So the next thing is the check on the price rise. So I can tell it as a inflation. So what does inflation mean? Where the purchasing power of the particular commodity starts increasing. Increasing in the sense, I'll give you example. Today the tomato may be of 10 rupees, but for tomorrow it might be 20 rupees, for day after tomorrow it might be 30 rupees, or more than that. So that is known as inflation or check on the price rise. So when the price rises, it is very difficult for the people in the economy to buy all these things. So what the government should do, the government should check on the price rise and to have a proper control or to have a proper stability in the economy. So by this what happens, in order to consume some food grains, this is the example was only for the tomato, but it applies to everything in the economy, to all the vegetables, to all the fruits, to all the food grains, to all the consumer durables also. When the price rises, it is very difficult for the poor people to consume all these things, right? So because of this, the government should check on to the price rise. Whenever there is rise in the price, there should be stability, there should be controllance. How can the controllance be made? I will be taking the example of the tomato, same. So today is 10 rupees, so how will be the controllance? Tomorrow it can be only 12 rupees, or the person can increase only to the extent of 2 to 3 rupees. So that is known by the controllance or checking of the price rise. Okay, so the next thing is about controlling growth of population. So the how can the controllance of the growth can be made? It can be made by giving proper information to the people, to the poor people, where by giving proper campaigns in any particular locality or any particular interior places or to the remote areas. So by this what happens, the birth control measures can be given. So this particular information can be spread all over the India. By this what happens, the controlling of growth, because of the rapid growing of the population, what is happening in the economy, there is lack of education given to the people, lack of sanitation, lack of food facility given to the people, lack of shelter, so all this, lack of income also. So because of this what happens, it is very difficult for the people in the economy to grow. So this is also a kind of a problematic thing which arises in the economy. So proper adoption of proper measures should be taken at this point of time. Proper measures in the sense, giving proper information, giving proper campaigns to the poor people who lives in the interior locality where the growth rate is very high. The next thing is about the special focus on backward regions. So what happens in the backward regions in the sense, maybe the rural areas or the remote areas where proper information is not being gone. So at this point of time what happens, it is very difficult for the people to know that, for example, if the government has given green revolution to the economy. What does green revolution mean? The spectacular change in the economy due to the agricultural products. What kind of products did the government give? Maybe the HYV seeds, that is the hybrid seeds, maybe the fertilizers, pesticides, all these things at a subsidized rate in the sense lower rate. So what happens to the backward regions at this point of time? They will be not knowing this information, so which will be a very difficult process for them. So special focus or special special permission should be given for them to know all these things. Maybe they might be having no radio, they might be having no TV to know all these informations. So because of this it will be a problematic thing. So the government, what should they do? They should give a special focus for all these regions by giving some of the concessions, by giving some of the information, by doing the campaigns, by going to that. What happens, you might be seeing these things in the TV, that the medical students or the medical people will be going to the interior places or the village areas to give a campaign routine. So at this point of time what will they do? They do the checkup. If there are any patients, they will treat them properly. So in the same way, for all the necessary sectors, what happens, the government should do campaigns. So by this what happens, there will be a proper focus which will be given to the economy. And the last thing is about the developmental of infrastructural facility. What do you mean by infrastructure? Maybe the roads, maybe the dams, maybe any kind of water facility, maybe any kind of medical facility. All these things are known as the infrastructural facility, which should be given to each and every house. So even during the transportation of any kind of vegetables, maybe eggs is the main thing. So what happens, from the farm to the place of the market, the road should be proper, the transportation should be proper, the vehicles which you get should be proper. So if the roads are not proper, there might be the consequences that the breakage of the eggs might happen. So which is one of the laws for the person. So infrastructural facility should be given to the economy, which is very much important. So these are some of the suggestions which is given by the government to the end people, so that all these things can be taken into consideration. Why? To reduce the poverty, to give the people a proper employment opportunities. Generation of the employment opportunities is also one of the mainest thing under the employment, where they can even keep their own business. If not, they can be kept as a laborer, as a worker in any kind of industry, or they can be given any plot of land to ask them to plow the fields, they ask them to do any cultivation process. So in employment opportunity will also play a major role in the poverty level. So these are the suggestions which is very much important to adopt by our economy. Thank you, students.